the chat working? Hi, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Happy October. I'm going to give it a second for everybody to come in. I am like 5 minutes late here. It was a crazy night. So my hair is also wet. I just got out of the shower. I was so hot. I was like, I need to shower. So we're going to get started here in a second. I'm just going to light some Palo Santo. In the meantime, grab a notebook, a pen, obviously, your calendar if you have it, your birth chart to reference against. And also, if you go over to Patreon, over to the post for this video, so the October forecast post, down below, I tagged I uploaded two PDFs. Which will also be here as slides in that I'm about to show you that you can screenshot if you want, but the resolution will not be as good. So there are two things over there. There is a whole calendar that I made for the whole month with the breakdown of all the transits and the starseed activation dates, and it's color coded. And then I also made another like image that has all the starseed activation dates a little bit easier to understand. So you can go over and grab both of those right now on Patreon. And then when I say to grab your natal chart to reference against, what I mean by that is while we're going through this astrology, we're going to go through the chart. We're going to thank you, Kelly, for posting that. Hi, Kelly. Hi, everybody. I'm going to check in with the chat in a second. I just want to get some of this stuff out. So when I say to reference your natal chart against what I'm saying, what I mean is while I'm going through and I'm talking about, for example, Venus entered Virgo on the 2nd. We're going to talk about that here in a second. When I say that, you should go and look at your chart and you should go and look and see what house Virgo is. So you'll know all the stuff I'm saying is not only going to apply in a general Virgo fashion, but it's really going to be pinpointed on, say, your 2nd house or your 7th house or your 10th house. So you want to be referencing your chart. I'm going to make you guys work. Like most astrologers are just little talk, but I want to teach you guys how to actually use these tools and not just like, I have to listen to the astrologer so I know what's going to happen. It's like, no, I'm giving you the tools so you can make what you want happen, and you'll have all the tools necessary to do that, and you'll know what you're working with. So if I say like Mercury is opposite Uranus, and we're going to be looking at that in the chart. So Uranus right now is in Taurus. So you would look to see where Taurus is. Mercury right now is in Scorpio. Knowing what those houses are will give you a deeper like framework as to like what I'm talking about and how it might manifest for you in your life. And of course, we'll talk about how it's going to manifest here in the world too. We're going to be talking a lot about like things that are out of our control and things that are in our control, and like the multiple octaves of these transits and how they can be utilized for like magic and creative purposes, and also a lot about relationships this month, or they can obliterate things if we take that lower octave. So I'm going to check in with the chat really quick, and then we're going to go over to some slides for you to take some screenshots, have a couple announcements, and then we'll jump into the chart. So everybody's just saying hi. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Kimberly. Hi, Sharon, Janelle, Jenny, Janelle. Oh, I already said Janelle, but hi, Janelle again. And Kelly posted some stuff in there. Opening the live from Discord seems to work fine. Oh, I didn't know you could do that, Kelly. Kelly says, yes, she wants to know stuff so I could do it myself, says help others, which is why you are so awesome. Got it. Thank you. Helps me learn. Perfect. Okay, so by the way, can you guys notice a difference with this camera? This is my new webcam, but I don't think I'm using it right because it's like sometimes it's in focus and I don't know. It's supposed to be a really good one. Plug and play. It's supposed to autofocus, auto light, but like it always seems out of focus. It was working good the other night, but now I'm confused. So I don't know, but it came with its own speakers. So I'm hoping the sound might be better. Let me know if you guys think the sound is better. The video does look blurry to me, but I'll have to watch some videos and figure that out. I spent all day figuring out my astrology software, and that was hard. All right. So let's show this screen. I am going to get rid of my face for this so you guys can take screenshots. I'm probably not going to have my face for the chart either because it does get in the way. So you should be able to hear me but not see me. Jenny says it sounds good. Kimberly says it sounds and looks good. Maybe it's my phone. Kelly says webcams are always weird, but it does look nice. Sound seems good. Cool. Yeah, I did a little tester the other night with one of my sound bowls, and it seemed to really pick up the sound better. So I'm excited about that. All right, so let me go over here. So obviously this is just the thumbnail for our video. I'm going to try to always do some sort of like synopsis of the month, encapsulate it into like a little sentence so that throughout the month, when you're trying to think of like, what was all that shit Ali said to me in the beginning of the month about October all about, like, you're not going to be able to remember it, which is another reason why I'm having you write things down and look at it and be like active in this with me in hopes that you will remember some of these things. But also I want to try to have a little sentence. So for this month, it's finding magic in the chaos. We're going to be talking about that a lot more, but here is, oh, apparently I can do this with the arrows. My kid taught me this the other day. She's like, Mom, you know, you can just press the arrow. You don't have to go up and click it. I was like, no, kid, I did not know that, but thank you. So here is the month's calendar. Like I said, if you are a Patreon member, I'm actually going to be making this video. I'm going to release this for everybody, even on YouTube. I'm going to unlock it tomorrow. Just because this month is super intense, and I want to try to do this every once in a while so people can kind of get a taste of what the Cosmic Alliance is all about. And I think this video might be a good one to do. So I am going to release this on YouTube. If you're just watching this on YouTube and you're not an Alliance member, I do recommend taking a screenshot here. If you are an Alliance member, there is a high definition version of this over on Patreon. Feel free to download it. The way this breaks down is the blue ones are starseed activation dates. The first couple of days there that you see are all blue are not days of the month. The month doesn't start until Thursday the 1st. So over here, I just put all of the starseed activations that are like all month. We're going to talk about these more later and go through like their dates and stuff. But all month, we're going to have Andromeda, Orion's Belt, Lyra activations, but it's strongest through the 1st and the 14th, Regulus activations through the 1st and the 5th. We're going to talk about this later. All of the purple ones are our lunations. So we had a full moon on the 1st. That was also when our live was. All the green ones are for our lives when we meet here for the Cosmic Alliance. The yellow ones are like major shifts in planetary transits, like changing from like one sign to another, really big events like that. Aspects like, okay, so the yellow ones are like when a planet will switch from one sign to another, or station direct, or go retrograde, meteor showers, things like that. All the other ones are just our other transits throughout the month. So that's kind of how this is broken down. Feel free to take that screenshot, and then we're going to go over all this stuff when we go through the chart. This is just for you to reference and kind of break it all down. So the next one, I can press this button, is our October starseed activation. So like I said, we're going to go through this when we go through the chart, but feel free to take this screenshot. I also have here the planets that are making these activations. So we have activations with Andromeda all month with Mars, Uranus, Lilith, Eris, Mercury, and the Sun. Orion's Belt is going to be activated all month by our lunar nodes, setting us up for eclipses next month and the month after that. Regulus, which is one of the 4 royal fixed stars, often associated with the archangels. The 4 directions, even though they don't exactly line with the 4 directions. And it's the heart of the lion. So Venus will be activating that through the 1st and the 5th. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. We have Lyra all month with Jupiter and Pluto, but it's the strongest through the 1st and the 14th. We have another Draco alignment from the 4th to the 10th, and Venus will be activating Alpha Draconis tomorrow. And then our yearly Arcturus alignment is the 13th through the 23rd, but it's the strongest on the 16th, which also happens to be aligned with our Libra new moon. And then I have a couple of announcements before we get in the chart. So I have found a couple of meditations for us to help us navigate this month in like a practical fashion with like some tangible tools other than astrology. They are just people I found on YouTube. I don't know them personally, but I did listen to them all over the past 2 days. And you'll find those down linked below this video. There is one that is pretty short and could be done quite often that will help you find that calm, centered place in the midst of like world chaos around you that like you have no control over. And then 2 different meditations to help you tap into your inner magic and activate your spiritual gifts and really focus on like inner transformation and reclaiming your magic. So definitely check those out. They're down below, and I'll probably talk about them again at the end. But I just wanted to make all these announcements and then get rid of these slides. Okay, also I have t-shirts available. So my partner is an artist. He's a tattoo artist amongst a plethora of other things. The guy can do anything. It's amazing. And he's created a bunch of shirts for me. And I have a couple of different designs. We printed a bunch of like different colors, different sizes to try to figure out the styles we want to put on our website. So I have a couple available right now. I'm only really offering them to like patrons and like people who follow me on Instagram or whatever. And so if you are interested, I'm going to show you the pictures that I have. Just DM me or preferably email me because I'm so bad at answering DMs. But if you DM me, I'll try to get to you. But my email is thecosmicspacewitch@gmail.com. Just email me and tell me what design you want. Like, I like the Cosmic Alliance one with your face. I like the cosmic one with the eye being abducted. And then tell me what size you are. They're all men's sizes, so ranging from like small to large, mostly a lot of mediums and larges, because I like those are the sizes I like. But just be like, hey, I want a Cosmic Alliance in medium. And then I'll be like, okay, great. I have this color, this color, this color, and this color. Which one do you want? And then I'll mail them to you. So these are the other options. The shirts right now are $15 plus $7 shipping. And like I said, just email me, preferably thecosmicspacewitch@gmail.com, or you can send me a DM to purchase. These are the different designs. We have the Cosmic Alliance one, the abducting, happy eye to be abducted by the aliens and taken off of planet Earth in 2020. Cosmic Invasion, which I'm wearing right now. We have a Starseed one and a Truth Seeker one. So like I said, this is our first little round to just get us going, get some fun so that we can buy some more supplies. And then once we launch on the website, we're actually going to be offering a couple of different options pricing wise, where like you will have the option to pay slightly more. And then with every purchase you buy where you pay slightly more, we will then go personally donate shirts to the homeless population down here in Los Angeles, which is growing by the day. So this is something my boyfriend has always wanted to do. He's been talking about this since I met him. Of course, it wasn't with cosmic shirts, but it was always he always had a plan to make a t-shirt line and do this. And yeah, so we're really excited to start that. But in the time being, if there's anything here that you want, let me know, send me a message, and I'll let you know what I got. Okay, let's get into the chart. So I'm going to go back over here and check in with the chat and then share my screen. Okay. Webcams are weird. They are. Kelly loves the calendar. I'm glad. It took me all day, but it really helped me. I used to do this all the time when I first started, to like map out all the things. So I would have an idea of the month and how to like plan my stuff. And then I stopped, but I noticed that it really does help me see the bigger picture. So I'm definitely going to start doing that again and share with you guys, because otherwise I was just making those exact same things except for color coding them with highlighters and not on the computer. They weren't as pretty. And it was just in my notebook. Nobody else got to share in on any of that, but it does help you see what's going on. So thank you for putting the email address, Kelly. And Kimberly says, I love that. I will definitely send an email for one. Perfect. Thank you, Kimberly. Okay, so I have some notes here to try to keep me on track. I would just like to say thank you very much to the Uranus Mercury opposition today for helping me like organize my thoughts and connect all the pieces and do this in a clear and concise fashion. I think this is going to be good. All right, so we're going to share my screen with my application window, which I've spent all day tricking out, and I still don't really have it looking exactly like what I want, but we're learning. Turn this here. Janelle loves the calendar. She just printed it. Perfect. I hope it helps. Also, yeah, I was going to tell you, if you have access to a printer, go print it out. And then all your little notes, like if I'm talking about Venus entering Virgo on the 2nd, you can be like, and I'm saying little things about what Venus and Virgo is about. You can write like practical relationships and like all the little notes. So you know like what all these things mean. I didn't have time to do that all for you guys. So here is face over here, but not my voice. Hold on. Not my face. That's what I mean. Okay, so you guys should hear me but see the chart. Please let me know if that is the case. And then I'm going to go over to the other software, so I'm not going to be able to really see the chat, but I'm going to come back and check in with you guys. The magic of iPlanner is the only thing keeping me on track lately. I feel my brain is scrambled. I'm so sad. I broke my planner today, Kelly. You know that little rubber band thing that like goes around it to keep it closed? It totally snapped off. I was like, sad face. But I think the big one doesn't come with one, so that's good. All right, it's good. You guys can hear me? Good. All right, I'm going over to the software. This, hopefully you can't see this. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take a drink of water. Okay, so what you guys are looking at is a chart of October 1st, which I know passed, but we're just, some things happened in the beginning of the month that I want to talk about. I'll let you know when we get to where we're at, but I'm sure you know the date and can figure it out. So this is an Aries rising chart. As we move through time here, the houses aren't going to change. It's just going to stay the same. There's no house numbers here. We're just watching the planets move and looking at the aspects so that it'll be the same for everybody, regardless of where they are on the planet. You guys like my pretty pink? I'm still messing with these, trying to get these right, but it's definitely better. So like I said, this is the chart for October 1st. And if you guys remember, on October 1st, we had an Aries full moon, which was conjunct Chiron, and it also made aspects with Lilith and Eris. It was a really big moon for many of us. It's off here by a degree because of the time of day that I have chosen here. But we had our Chiron conjunction. Many of us met for that moon video. We have spent the time leading up to that, and particularly all the time since then, really focused on wound integration and understanding all the deep recesses of our primal psyche and the core wound, the way we do, and trigger us and things like that. So we've been really processing and integrating a lot of stuff like this, preparing us for our Libra new moon, which is coming up here on the 16th. So when we got to the 2nd, we had Venus enter Virgo. So as you can see, Venus left Leo and entered Virgo. Now, these are, let me talk about the star seed alignments in the beginning of the month first, because we're getting past the Regulus point. So I'm going to try to talk about them as they occur, but these are the ones that are happening all month. So we have Andromeda alignments happening here and here. Andromeda falls here through the degrees of Aries and Taurus. That's where the stars fall. And so certain planets, when they're at certain degrees within Scorpio and Libra, will activate Andromeda. And throughout the month, we have a plethora of planetary points in these positions activating stars and the vertex of Andromeda. So you guys have heard me mention this is a lot of twin flame energy. We're really seeing that a lot here, obviously, during Libra season, and with the kind of conjunctions and energies that we've been experiencing here. You guys have heard me talking about this. This isn't new. Throughout the month, we also have our nodes right now at 23 degrees. By the end of the month, they'll be at like 22, 21. And that is where Orion's belt starts. 23, ends 21, 24. It's like right here. This is the belt. And so our north node, our direction where it's pointing us, our forward motion is pointed at Orion's belt. And you guys, some of you may have heard me talk about Orion energy before. What this sign symbolizes, Orion and Gemini, is duality. It's extreme polarity and balanced duality. So while many of us will be using this eclipse cycle and this nodal transit to really focus on unifying those polar opposites, much of the planet is becoming extremely polarized one way or another. These transits all have dual manifestations. So that's why I always say we want to know what's going on so we can take the higher octave. And you also want to know the octave other people around you are taking so you can recognize it when it's occurring. So that's happening all month. And then we have our Regulus alignment. So Regulus used to be at 29 degrees of Leo. It is the heart of the lion. And in 2012, it transited into 0 degrees of Virgo. And that was a huge thing. Stars don't move, really. They transit 1 degree every 72 years. So to transit 30 degrees of a sign, it takes, I don't even know, a really long time. Maybe somebody can do the math and put it in the chat. But took 72 years just to move from this final degree of the patriarchal lion into the service to others, Virgo. And when it did, there was a huge paradigm shift. It was actually the last one of these 4 royal fixed stars to transit out of fixed signs and into mutable signs, the signs that create change, or that flow with change. And this alignment of Regulus is going to be happening from the 1st to the 5th. It happened from the 1st to the 5th, right? Yeah. So we're already past this, but I just still want you guys to know that this occurred. And what this really focused on was the heart. It was on softening the ego and tapping into the heart. And how can we be of service to others? And how can we use that compassionate and service-minded, practical energy to do things with our loved ones. So those are going to be the transits that have either already happened for star seeds or are happening all month, which brings me back to the 2nd. So Virgo entered Venus entered Virgo. And what this brings us is a practical approach to relationships. So it's based on shared work and mental compatibility. So you're really going to be connecting with your loved ones. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of the mind, and Venus is the planet of relationships and love. So we're really connecting with our loved ones on a mental level and figuring out how we can like work together to get things done. This transit could manifest as an undervaluing of the self, like sacrificing the self for others. It can also manifest as like intense, controlling, obsessive, neurotic, scattered tendencies, particularly around loved ones. So you could be like hovering and obsessing on your kids or your boyfriend, or like tiny messes, tiny details, like things that do not matter. Don't do that. Try to use this time to, like I said, connect on a mental level and find ways to be of service to those you love without losing yourself. This energy can tend to also be kind of like scattered. So make sure you're finding ways to stay grounded. Virgo is an earth sign, but it's a mental earth sign. And she can be just like a fucking hot mess. Okay. My Mars is there, my rising's there. I know this energy well. This is like the ADD kid that you gave candy and soda to, and now you're trying to like get to do something. You need to make sure that you're giving this mental energy an outlet so that it doesn't turn to neurotic tendencies or like obsessive compulsive behaviors. And use this time to focus on like your duties and like practical work when it comes to loved ones. Okay. So on the 3rd, Pluto went direct. So did that click? Yeah. So on the 3rd, Pluto stationed direct at 22 degrees. So if you guys read my post the other day, you probably already know quite a bit about this, but we're just going to cover it really quick here. So this degree is actually the exact same degree that Pluto and Saturn were at the beginning of the year in January for the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, which kickstarted this whole thing that we're living through right now. It kickstarted 2020. It kickstarted lockdown and all of the events that have followed. Have had a lot to do with these 3 planetary bodies dancing back and forth here and connecting with one another, and also Mars. That this Pluto retrograde stationing direct at this exact energetic degree is putting a laser beam of focus on this point, on that conjunction at the beginning of the year and what that set into motion. Pluto, the planet of the deep, the dark, the hidden, power, control, transformation, death, rebirth, has been retrograde. And for about 5 months, he's retrograde for about half of the year each year. They say that Pluto, the lord of the underworld, spends half of his time in the light and half of his time in the darkness. And he really has the ability to see what others cannot. And he's been in there in the trenches, digging, trying to understand. And now he's stationed direct. So what was this conjunction at the beginning of the year all about? So the last time we saw this conjunction in Capricorn was 500 years ago. And it was 1518. It was the start of the African slave trade, where we started, I hate saying we, but our ancestors here in America started shipping people from Africa to sell, to build this country, and others as well. And that was the first start of this transporting of people, and a lot of the shadow that America holds. Our country is built on these systems. This is how we built this country, and America is going to have to address a lot of its shadow coming up here, as America's natal Pluto is like right here, and so it's being activated by all of these points. So not only was that the start of the African slave trade, but it was also the Reformation, which was when the Catholic Church, the Roman Catholic Church, was for the first time really challenged. And the Protestant Reformation then followed, and different sects then came, and a lot of heretics were claimed, and there's a lot of drama that came from that. But from that happening, the fall of the Roman Catholic Church was imminent. It lost a lot of control, and people started to be able to explore different realms of spiritual practices that weren't so rigid like the Roman Catholic Church was. So what Pluto, the planet of power, and Saturn, the planet of structure, when they meet, what that does, it's a huge shift in power in structures. So just like we saw with the Reformation, just like we saw with the African slave trade, a lot of countries lost their sovereignty and their own power when many others popped up out of nowhere and gained it, or like not so much countries and land, but systems of people and civilizations. So this has a big focus. This Pluto going direct has a huge focus on shadow, on power, on control, and the dark and the hidden, occult, secret societies, all that jazz. So he's been going retrograde, going backwards, digging deep, really trying to expose some stuff, and now he's stationed direct. Now, you will hear all kinds of astrologers or posts online tell you, oh, Saturn is direct now and transformation is coming and it's here. And that's just so not true, because Pluto is stationed. You see that little S? You see how the planets that are retrograde here, Mars is retrograde, it has an RX because he's moving backwards. Saturn is not. He's stationary. He's not moving at all. He's at the same degree and he's focused there, and he wants you to see something. And he's going to be there for a minute. He doesn't really start moving until the 11th. And then even then, he's super slow until like the end of the month. So this is bringing huge transformation and like a shift, a rebirth in the area of your life that's ruled by Capricorn, and also in the area of our reality that's ruled by Capricorn, which is the system. It's the government. It's all the patriarchal systems. Now, that being said, it's also the planet of power. So while it dug deep and now it's ready to transform this system, it's also gone direct. So this planet of power in the house of the system is going to be moving forward. So some power is going to be coming back to them and squaring us, Mars, over here. So we do need to be mindful of this. So on the 4th, starts our Draco activation. So our Draco alignment is happening in 2 different places. It's happening here in Libra. There are a couple of stars here in Libra that are Draco stars that will be activated between the 4th and the 10th, which is really going to be putting a focus on shadow. Draco focuses on our shadow. When it comes to relationships, which we're also going to be seeing this a lot through a lot of these other transits and through Scorpio season and the end tail of Libra season and all of that. So this is really going to start pinpointing it into our consciousness so that we can start to address it. And lots of downloads are going to be coming through of things that you need to address. Also, that's on the 8th though. So it starts here on the 4th and it goes through the 10th. And those are the Libra activations. Then on the 7th, which is today. So let's get us to today. All right, we are now current time. Well, not current time. This is 4 p.m., but you get the gist. So today we have a Mercury-Uranus opposition. It's actually a really good day for insights. Mercury right here in Scorpio, opposite Uranus in Taurus. So Uranus is the planet of like insights, awakening, inspiration. It's weird and unusual and shocking and just like sudden bursts of creativity or mental insights come through when Uranus is active in the chart. Now, he's retrograde right now. So a lot of these things are really going to be happening more on an internal level, rather than weird shit happening in your reality on an outward fashion. It is going to be happening more on an internal fashion. So you are going to be having downloads and insights and things clicking. So make sure that you're not allowing yourself to get too distracted with the outside world and giving yourself a chance for some of this to happen. The Mercury Uranus opposition with Mercury in in Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto and governs the 8th house of the hidden. This is the deep subconscious, the shit that beyond the veil, the stuff you cannot see, you cannot really see and grasp. It's in the shadows. It has not been hit by the light, and we can't fully bring it into our conscious mind. Well, that's in an opposition right now, meaning it's in a tug and pull. It's wanting to work together. It just needs to find a middle ground with Uranus, who's ready to dig in there and show us shit we couldn't see. So you make sure you find some time tonight, or hopefully today. You probably had some insights flowing to tap into this Uranus Mercury opposition. It did help me. Uranus is also the planet of technology. It really did help me, even though I know I complain a lot about how I don't understand computers. I will say that this energy today was exactly what I needed to be able to make this look better. So on the 8th is when we have our second Draco activation, and our sun on that day will be perfectly aligned with, what's that star called? Hold on. I should know this because it aligns with my damn Venus. I can't pronounce it. Oh, Jesus. I'm not even going to try. Shangzia. Shanggzai. Yeah. Well, I could pronounce Aldebane, maybe, whatever. That's at 14 degrees, which it just hit the day before. But that's a main star in the Draco constellation that will be aligned on that day, the same day that Venus aligns with Alpha Draconis here in Virgo. So the 8th, tomorrow, we are really going to be looking at our relationships when it comes, our shadow when it comes to our relationships, our shadow within relationships. And downloads are going to be coming through that we are going to have to integrate later when Mercury goes retrograde here and transits into here and other things start to occur. So make sure you are paying attention tomorrow, because the cosmos want to speak to you and give you some guidance on what to do the rest of the month when integrating these things. So I'm going to go check in with the chat before I continue on, just to see if there's any questions. And I can't see you guys. Okay. Hi, guys. You're not allowed to shut the planner? What? Okay, hold on. I'm so scattered. Yeah, I was scattered. That's another thing. The Uranus, and I knew that's why I like to know about what, that's why I like to know like the energy that's going on, because then I can be like, oh, you're getting distracted. And if you continue spiraling down this, you're going to fall into some Uranian hole and you're going to be never get anything done. However, this Mercurial Uranus energy is here to help you really focus. Go work on your astrology software. This is something that you can do right now. And so I went and did that. But I definitely was like laying there with petrified wood on my chest, like trying to ground down. I feel you, Kelly. Kimberly says, I have noticed other folks being very neurotic. LOL. Definitely feel more scattered. Yoga is definitely helping a ton. I feel that. The 3rd felt like a long, slow day too. So I felt Pluto standing still. Yes, for sure. Karma is a mirror and it ain't pretty sight. Yes, 2020 isn't playing at all. No, it is not. Oh, good. I need to get some insight into my relationship shadow. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to go back over to the chart and we will continue on. I'm trying to stay focused. I'm actually pretty proud of myself right now. Okay, so we talked about Draco Venus activation on the 8th. And when we go to the 9th, we have Mars square Pluto. So hold on, let me see. Am I in the chat right? Okay, good, good, good. Okay. So Mars in Aries square Pluto in Capricorn. This is an ongoing thing. This isn't the first time they've come into a square. Mars has been transiting Aries for freaking ever and is here for so long because he goes retrograde and then goes all the way back and is going to transit again. So he's going to be here until January. And we've been having this ongoing Mars square with these three big boys. And this is not the first time that they have met. But Mars and Pluto are going to meet again on the 9th. Now, this energy can manifest in a multitude of ways. And while that sounds, oh my God, that's horrible. Mars is going to be squaring freaking Pluto. Like, no, it does not need to be. And that is why I get so frustrated with astrology is like, yes, on a collective level, this is going to be tense, particularly right now in the world. But on a personal level, this can be beautiful. This is a recipe for creative transformation and like the drive to transform, except for right now, right now, Mars is retrograde. So that transformation is not going to be so much in an outward fashion, like taking action and trying to like transform your physical outside reality. It's going to be an internal transformation. And squares bring like an internal conflict, but like I hate the word conflict because it's just like a trigger. It's just a little bit of I hate the word trigger too. It just nudges you to do or say or change or something to create needed change. They're not here to screw you up. Now, we usually fall to the lower octave of these things. That is true. But if you know that this is there, you can not get angry or get into power struggles, but you could use this to transform in an inward fashion, which is a lot of what this month is going to be about, is finding the magic in the chaos. So this is really here to help us transform our deep inner recesses of our psyche. Now, if we don't do that, if we don't use this energy for that, what can happen? There can be power struggles, and we will see power struggles happen on the world stage. That is definitely going to be happening around the 9th, 100%. We already see it happening right now. I'm not really going to get into much to current events, but you guys can make these connections for yourself. Also like disagreements, and it's going to be the individual versus the system. Yes. But like I said, this is a catalyst for the drive, that internal drive that you will need to dive deep into the transformation of the deepest recesses of your psyche. Again, look and see what houses Aries and Capricorn fall in your chart to see where the struggle is occurring. What houses are these for you? And then you'll have a better idea of what's happening. So from there, I wrote this down so I could stay on topic. On the 10th, we have Venus trining Uranus. So a lot of what this month has is like a hodgepodge of intense transits, intense aspects, intense astrology, particularly with the individual versus the system versus shadow versus transformation, things like that. But at the same time, it has a lot of really beneficial transits when it comes to relationships. However, they do require some work, or they too can manifest in that lower octave. So this Venus Uranus trine is here. This right here, Venus trining Uranus. Uranus is the planet of excitement, and it's the unusual planet of just weird, strange, different, out of the box, something new. And we know that Venus is the planet of love. So this is a great transit to try something new and exciting in your relationships. Something fun. Uranus is also the planet of awakening, of creativity, of authenticity. This month, you guys are going to hear me talking about this a lot more as I continue through these transits of the month, but a lot of how we're going to be finding the magic in the chaos is not only diving into the deep recesses of our shadowy subconscious and transforming ourselves and reclaiming our magic. We really want to be utilizing this energy effectively. And we have a lot of Neptune, a lot of Uranus, a lot of Venus connections that are really here to help us create something beautiful. And like utilize that energy and channel it into something physical. So it doesn't, one, stay inside of our body and turn us into a neurotic mess. Two, explode on our loved ones where we get into those conflicts of power or disagreements, but instead it explodes on a canvas and something like that. I like to paint, I make jewelry. Me and the kids make and do weird things all the time, but definitely a lot of these things are a chance to do something weird, create something fun, do something like that. So from there, our sun squares Jupiter on the 11th. We have a lot of transits this month, guys. So our sun square Jupiter is actually a really useful transit. So again, squares, see these big red lines, they're super scary, right? You're like, oh no, it's red and it's squaring. That's not good. Not true. It's not true. Squares are there to shake things up and create change. So the sun, which is our consciousness, is squaring Jupiter. And this is a useful transit that gives the energy we need to get ahead. Like it gives us the discipline we need to get something done. However, we can't go overboard or bite off more than we can chew or put too much on our plate, or we won't get anything done. So on the 11th is a good day to try to tackle something on your list of things to do. Just don't get carried away. Like, don't be a Sagittarius about it. Don't be all extra. Don't try to do too much. Ask for help. People are here to help you. Ask for a loved one's help, and you'll be able to get some stuff done. Now, try to focus on just one thing that you think you can actually do. Do not be like, oh, Allie says I can get stuff done today. I'm going to go try to do 100 things. Like, please don't do that. It's not the day to do that. Yeah, pick one thing and try to get it done. Now, I do have to say that this square, while it could be, like I said, higher octave, try to get things done, work with loved ones, do all that. What this can also manifest as is, even though the sun is in Libra, which is more harmonious and understanding to other people's viewpoints, this Sun Jupiter square can bring conflict around beliefs and ideals. So try not to talk to anybody about what it is you believe around the 11th, and try to just utilize your partnerships and the optimism that you're going to feel on that day to try to get something done. Just don't go overboard. So the next day, I'm trying to follow along here. Yeah, it is the next day, the 12th. So the 12th is actually a really good day. The 11th and the 12th leading up are both really good days. On the 12th, we have Jupiter sextile Neptune and Mercury sextile Venus. So Jupiter sextile Neptune, and what did I say? Mercury sextile Venus. The little blue lines. So sextiles bring like an easy flow of energy, but it does require effort. But it brings reward. They're blue. They're good. Okay. This energy will bring an optimistic and an optimistic outlook, but it can lean on the side of like escapism. So you want to be leaning into the like positive mindset without like leaving reality altogether, which Neptune, you know, he governs the unreality. He governs our spirituality, but also delusions and illusions and all that jazz. So you really want to make sure that you're staying grounded in reality. Also, Jupiter used to rule, this is the ruler of Pisces now, and Jupiter used to be the ruler of Pisces. So he has those similar mindsets where he can get carried away with the unphysical, and then he can't manifest anything in the physical. So we need to make sure that we're staying grounded. But this energy is so beautiful. Both of these energies right here on this day is so beautiful for creating something. Neptune is the planet of creativity. It's the planet of expressing our inner feelings and emotions through art and music. I really think that things like that are what are going to get us through this month. You guys hear me saying this a lot because it's my biggest coping mechanism is making stuff and channeling the energy into things. So I usually only give advice that I follow. So that's my advice I have for you this month. Let's see, what else do I want to say about this? I did have notes here, so give me 1 second. So the focus is going to be on spirituality and religious views and ideals. So again, just be mindful. While these are a lot of beneficial transits here, we got a whole lot of other shit going on. So really keep your beliefs to yourself. Use this as an internal process to maybe like question and ponder your deeper beliefs and things like that. And then maybe try to like channel them into some sort of like writing or creative spiritual pursuit or something like that. But try not to talk too much with people who differ from you. Your close, deep, intimate relationships and loved ones. Now is a good time to connect on like a deep level and talk about some deep stuff and really connect on that like mental plane. But like people that you know you don't agree with, like just don't even try to get them on your side when it comes to like beliefs or ideals or anything like that. These transits are lighthearted, especially this one. So this is like our mind and our heart working in tandem. Now, this is our deep mind. This is scorpionic mind. This is as deep as it can go, right? And it's working in tandem with our service-minded heart, our service-minded Venus, who's here to try to see how can I be of service to others. So you're diving deep into your psyche to find what is it that you can offer and what are your views about that and how can you best be of service. So these are quick transits, particularly anything involving Mercury is only here for like a day, but it's a good time to really tap into these energies. So change. On the 13th, our sun is in opposition to Mars, and we also have our Arcturus alignments starting. It starts on the 13th and it goes to the 23rd, but and those are all the stars in the constellation of Boots, which is where Arcturus falls. Now, the actual star of Arcturus, the alignment will occur on our Libra new moon. But from the 13th to the 23rd, we're really going to be having a lot of Arcturian downloads coming through. Again, that'll be a really good time to allow these downloads to come through, work on creating, expressing, go paint, go make something. A lot of the downloads will come through the symbolism and what it is that you make, but really try very, very hard not to get sucked down rabbit holes. Arcturus starseeds are very based around knowledge and the learning of information and things like that. But but they also, those star systems have a lot of information to share with us. And if we're too busy diving into mundane rabbit holes here, trying to understand these, which an Arcturus energy will bring us to try to do, we won't have any space in our mind or our reality for anything to flow through. Any sort of insights, downloads, epiphanies will not be able to make it through your consciousness. So definitely make sure that you are, one, either finding time for meditation for this to come through, channel, channeled writing, automatic writing, journaling, sitting in silence, things like that. And if anything does come through, write it down, because you are going to forget it. I promise you that. Have a little notepad in your phone. I use the Note app, and use that to keep track of anything that comes through for you. The Arcturus activations are really, really strong. So on that same day, our sun is opposite Mars. So not only do we have this Arcturus connection alignment starting on that day, but we also have our sun coming into its yearly opposition with Mars. Our sun is our consciousness. It is what funnels everything through us for us to be able to see. It's what shines lights on things so that we can grasp what's going on around us. It is coming into an opposition with Mars while Mars is retrograde deep in the recesses of our primal psyche. And this is a critical culmination. It's a climax point of energy, particularly surrounding around this retrograde. So on the 13th, you pay attention, because whatever it is that Mars has been working on, whatever it is in your chart, look and see where Aries is too. Whatever it is that he's been digging up, whatever point here, whatever it is that he wants to make sure that you see and focus on, whatever your Mars retrograde has revolved around, you're going to get some insight about it on this day when it aligns with the sun to come in and funnel that into your consciousness. And hopefully those Arcturus alignments will help us be able to make sense of it. But this is when we're going to see some sort of like, oh, and then from there, it's going to be a lot of integrating. So, like I said, Mars is retrograde, so it's more of an internal process right now. I have some notes here. I think I already said all this stuff. So it's internalized and brought. So this opposition is going to help us internalize all the work that Mars has been doing while he's retrograde, and bring it to light in our consciousness so that we can see it and start to grasp it and understand it, and also address it throughout the rest of the year while he continues his retrograde and moves forward. So really make sure you're paying attention around the 13th. Now, I think it's on the 14th. Oh, he stations on the 14th. Okay, it stations. So on the 14th, which is going to be the same day as our new moon live. Our new moon is actually not till the 16th, but our new moon live is going to be on the 14th because I don't remember why I picked that. I think it was just better for me astrologically. Oh yeah, because Mercury is stationed that day. So it's going to be, he's stationed on my Mercury. My Mercury is like literally right here at 9 degrees. So he's right on mine. And I don't want to do it once he goes once he goes retrograde. So I'm hoping that while he's at least stationed, it's going to be a little bit easier, but I'm sure that live stream might be a struggle. So bear with me. But on the 14th, Mercury stations retrograde in the sign of Scorpio. So we're going to talk about this a lot more during our new moon live. I'm not going to get, and I'll have a really in-depth post about it as well. We're not going to get too far into it because we're only halfway through the month, and I do want to wrap this up in a decent fashion. I'm trying to go as quickly as I can. But really what this is going to focus on, it's going to start here in Scorpio. It's going to transit back into Libra, and then it's going to go direct again. And so it's going to focus on our hidden, shadowy, subconscious, our deep 8th house stuff of transformation and all of that. It's really going to be focusing on how can I transform? How can I be reborn? How can I dive into my darkness, understand it, and find power in it. You're really diving deep into this house that is ruled by Scorpio in your chart. Then it's going to transit into Libra, where we then look at that energy in a relationship to our relationships. That was hard to say. In relationship to our relationships, and from there we're going to be working on integrating all of these things. So it's going to be a lot of reflecting, reconsidering, and reconfiguring how we fit into our own life and our life with others. So Mercury stations on the 14th, and then on the 15th, our sun squares Pluto. So we've been having Mars, our drive, our how we fight for what we value, what motivates us, our initiative, our internal energies have been in opposition with all these planets. And he's been retrograde, really trying to understand it. Then he came into an opposition with our sun, and he was like, hey, dude, here's all the work I've been working on here. I've really dug up a whole lot of stuff, and I want you to know about it. And then he shoots that energy over to the sun, and the sun's like, okay, I see. I'm trying to integrate. And now the sun is going to come into an opposition with all these planets with some information that it just gained from Mars. And what this energy is here to do, this sun square Pluto, and then it's going to square Saturn, and then it's going to square Jupiter. It's here to bring all this darkness to light. So this can bring intense encounters with others and power struggles, just like a lot of these other red lines here can do. So be mindful all month, people are going to be on edge, and you really don't want to come at people in an aggressive, combative fashion, particularly people you don't agree with. Now is not the time to do that. It is a good time to start to solidify some deeper connections with the relationships that we already have, but just keep that in mind all month. So power struggles, but if we lean into this energy, it can reveal all of what Pluto has done. Look, and he's direct by now. So all of what he dug up during his retrograde, after Mars just shared some stuff with us, and we're going to start to have some more things seeded into our consciousness around the 14th. Let me see what I wrote here. To pull back. Okay, yeah. So this is going to be really pulling back the veil, but it's going to be your veil where you can get to work and get to, how did I write here? I just like sometimes scribble things down. And get to work, transformation. I don't know what that says. Anyway, this is going to pull back the veil so that we can see the sun, see Pluto pulling back the veil. And we can start to transform our consciousness with the information that all these planets who've been retrograde, digging back and forth, this planet, have all dug up for us. It's all going to be cemented, starting to cement into our consciousness. However, Mercury just stationed retrograde, and he's going to then have to go retrograde and back, and he's going to transit over this degree, and he's going to be internalizing it. So nothing is going to make sense. This is where things are going to come through that will make sense later. So please, please, please write stuff down, at least in a personal fashion. Here on a more of a public sphere, it'll play out differently. I'm trying to tell you how to navigate this for yourselves. So that was on Mercury stations. Oh, that was on the 15th when the sun squared that. Okay. So on the 16th, we have our Libra new moon. So I'm not going to talk about this too much now because we have, we're going to have a whole video about it. But this moon is going to be a new beginning in relationships. It is also perfectly conjunct Arcturus. So it's definitely going to be enlightening. It falls opposite Mars. It has a lot going on. So we will unpack this all later, but look and see what house Libra falls in your chart. You're definitely going to be seeing a new beginning arrive in that area of your life. which brings me, I'm going to go over to the chat really quick to check in, and then we're going to get to the 18th. Okay. Oh my God, don't be all Sagittarius about it. Yeah, that's coming from me with a Sagittarius stellium. So I can be quite extra, as you guys all know. Is it activating Eris still too? Mars? Yes, it is. I just had to remove a lot of the points out of my chart to kind of clean it up so there weren't so many aspect lines. So I did get rid of like Black Moon Lilith and Eris and things like that. But yes, they are still there. Janelle says I'm doing good. Thank you. I'm trying to stay focused. I think it's helping me to have like notes so I don't just like ramble on about one transit for like an hour. Okay, so I'm going to go back over here, and we are on the 18th, which on the 18th we have our Sun square Saturn, and which will be exact on that day, and we have Venus opposite Neptune. So these bring a different kind of energy. Now, Sun square Saturn brings hard karmic lessons. So while when our sun came into its square with Pluto, it's showing us how we need to transform our consciousness, and it's also going to reveal a lot of what was hidden and bringing like dark to light, but Mercury's still processing it, so we don't fully see it. Our sun in Libra square Saturn is going to be bringing some sort of like, okay, now you saw some stuff and now you need to do something about it type of thing, where we're going to have to address some sort of like responsibility or karmic pattern or something like that on a personal level. Now, on a collective level, around the 18th, our sun in Libra, which is the sign of peace, justice, harmony, fairness, square Saturn in Capricorn is should be intense to watch here on a collective basis throughout October. October is going to be pretty heavy. I don't want to get too much into like predicting anything because this whole month is just insane. I just can't. I also don't really have any desire to. I just want to try to help us navigate it, because a lot of what's going to happen, we're not going to have any control over. And there's really nothing we're going to be able to do. It's just how can you dive into the magic for yourself so that you can utilize this energy to transform. Because I think it's me, this is Kimberly. Kimberly and I say this to each other all the time, how it is the worst of times, but it's also the best of times. So while everything is falling apart around us and everything is just super intense, many of us are being shown the path we're supposed to be going on, and we're really being like thrown into our own transformation, our own healing, our own mission. And that is what all these transits are here to do, is trigger the lessons, the blockages, the things that you need to address so that you can fully step into what you came here to do. So these hard karmic lessons that Sun Saturn square is going to bring, don't be afraid of them. Just be like, yo, Saturn, what I got to do, man? You're the great teacher. Let me just know so I can integrate this and evolve past your freaking limitations. Okay. So it's going to be a laser beam on all the shit that you need to address, all the responsibilities and the foundation that you need to build so that you can even integrate any of these other things and move forward on any of your manifestations. Now, on the same day that you're trying to deal with all these responsibilities and foundations, we also have a Venus opposite Neptune. So we have Venus here in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces. And this can bring some delusions and some confusion. And it isn't the best energy for getting things done physically in your reality. Try not to get in your head on this day, particularly because it's just not clear. And if you do start to get in your head, you're going to be like obsessing on shit that probably isn't even remotely true when it comes to your relationships. So definitely try to stay out of your head. And again, Neptune, Venus, create something. All these Neptune aspects are really asking us to channel this energy into the physical. And the best way to do that is through creation, which I like arts. Other people, you can write, you can paint, you can draw, you can create music, there's a plethora of different things that you can do. I'm a crafter. I like to craft, but whatever it is that makes you happy, that you can physically channel your energy into, this month is the month to do it. Because if you get in your head, you're going to be obsessing and you're going to be delusional. If you don't utilize this energy properly, you will explode on other people. So yeah, make sure that you are taking advantage of it. Let me see if that's all I wanted to say about that transit. Yeah, Neptune is the planet of magic. Okay, so when I say we want to find the magic in the chaos, we want to be tapping into not only our own inner magic, which a lot of the meditations that I've linked down below will help you do that. Cultivating your magic in different ways, whether it's through spiritual practices, through new spiritual practices. Mercury here in Scorpio is really here to help you like dive into some new occult studies. Like, it's ideal time to be diving into deep subjects and finding ways to express yourself creatively. And also trying to connect deeply with your loved ones. Those are what's going to get you through this month. So I'm on the 18th. On the 19th, we have Mars square Jupiter and Venus trining Jupiter. So let me drink some water. So again, this Mars square Jupiter sounds scary, right? It's a big old square. Look at that big red line square there. And most people will tell you like this is intense and it's not good. But this energy can bring success if you just deal with it accurately and you like enter with care. And you don't act recklessly. Again, Jupiter is the planet of expansion. It's grandiose, it's big, and he can explode Mars energy, which is fiery and explosive, or he can help really internalize some of this deep work that he's been doing while retrograde and help us find some sort of success there. Again, he's triggering it. It's triggering it. And what Jupiter is here to trigger, it's our beliefs and like higher ideals of like philosophical ideals, which will then help us maybe understand some of these things that Mars is digging up. So it might be a good time to like dive into some sort of like philosophical works or YouTube videos or some sort of like course, and those might come with the triggers that you need to then help internalize this. Something's going to trigger this Mars energy. Now on a collective level, this can be extremely explosive. Yes, very much so. So the events of October 19th are probably going to be pretty intense. Now again, like I've been saying, every time they have some sort of super intense transit, it's usually paired with something that's going to help us with our relationships. So the same day that we have this Mars square Jupiter, we are also having Venus trining Jupiter. So our relationships are really working with this like optimistic Jupiter energy. Again, this is not great for getting things done. But it's a good day for fantasy and creating something beautiful. And yeah, again, tap into those creative juices. That is where a lot of your magic lies. When I look back on all the paintings that I did like during my awakening, I still am getting messages from them. They're so encoded with so many downloads. It's insane, the symbolism behind a lot of those. I really, really, really recommend trying to utilize a lot of that this month. It will help you. Like I said, I've said this 100 times already, but I want to really hone it in. But it will help you channel this energy into pure magic. It really will. Now, whatever it is that you're called to do, I mean, it might not necessarily be like painting or making jewelry, but like I'm sure you guys have some ideas. Why don't you write some in the chat? What are your favorite ways to create? Callie's making me a journal. I'm so excited. It looks so rad. All right, so we're on the 19th. We're almost done-ish, guys. Okay, so on the 20th, there's nothing here for the 20th, but I just wanted to tell you guys. Okay, so on the 20th, all right, so this month has 4 weeks. So normally for Patreon, I have this month has 5 weeks. Normally for Patreon, I have 4 videos a month, 1 a week. I have a new moon, a full moon, this forecast, and then a rabbit hole. So this month has an extra moon. So I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do this. It kind of depends, because on the 20th, there is a meteor shower. There is an Orion meteor shower, and I'm really hoping to take that week off and go to Joshua Tree and see the meteor shower. Now, if that doesn't plan out, I'm going to do a video on that day, and it'll be the Trump rabbit hole. Now, I haven't decided if I'm doing this video or not. I might take the week off and then just use the second moon. So the moon at the end of the month will be the replacement video for that month. So we'll have 2 full moons, 1 new moon, and a cosmic forecast rather than the rabbit hole. Or you guys will get an extra video this month. I haven't decided, but I do kind of need some time off, and I really want to see this meteor shower, but it might not happen. And if it doesn't, then I know that means I was meant to do this rabbit hole dive. So that is on the 20th. I'm going to have a post about the Orion meteor shower, but again, that's light codes rain from the sky that day, right? And they're flowing through the area of our sky that's governed and Orion is housed in. And those are really going to bring in codes for us to balance polarities or split farther. So be mindful around the 20th and use that time to integrate. I'll have a lot more about that. I really like writing about Orion energies, so we'll have more about that later. Which brings me to the 21st. So on the 21st, we have a Venus trining Pluto. So Venus right here at 22 degrees of Virgo, trining Pluto, the blue line right there, trining Pluto at 22 degrees of Capricorn. Oh, by the way, I wanted to tell you guys about these lines. So I have them set up. I'm still tweaking them. But the reason why some are skinny and some are long is the fatter lines indicate aspects that are tighter. So the bigger the line, the tighter the aspect. So like this skinny one here, they're off by so many degrees that it's not really considered trine. It's only like slightly in a trine. But these big fat ones are like super exact. So on the 21st, right? Yeah, on the 21st, Venus comes into a trine with Pluto. This is going to bring huge transformation to our relationships and intensity. Now, this is twofold energy. This can either, it's a blue line, it's a trine, it's an easy flow of energy. These planets want to work together. Now, the planet of relationships and the planet of destruction or rebirth or transformation. It's your pick, and they can work well either way. So it's twofold. You either take this time to dive into the transformation or solidify the intensity and really dive deep into these relationships and connect on a deeper level when it comes to like talking about things that are taboo or childhood trauma, whatever it may be. We're connecting with our loved ones, or it can be a huge power struggle and a type of like a death. It could bring a death or it can bring a rebirth. Again, I have written here art. Express yourself to channel your emotions is what I have written here. We really want to be channeling this energy, you guys. The same time that we have this Venus trining this, we have Neptune sextiling it. We have all these beautiful planets of creativity and expression, and that which is beautiful. Make something beautiful. When the world is falling down around you and it's all chaotic, what you have control over is your immediate reality. And that you can make beautiful as fuck. So this transit is going to help you do it if you utilize it properly. So what's next? Did the Orion meteor shower? Venus trine Pluto. Okay, it's on the 23rd. Our sun entered Scorpio. I don't talk too much about this here. We'll talk about this more when Scorpio season comes. But you guys understand Scorpio energy. We're going to be shifting from the harmonious relationships that Libra wants and the balance and harmony that she brings. And we're going to be entering into the deep, intense, very loyal, but sometimes not so healthy relationships that Scorpio is about. And these are really going to help us dive deep into our connection so we can solidify those. Also, we're going to be diving deep into our own darkness. This is a period of the year where we are shown all of our shadow and we are forced to integrate it. And the sun entering this sign of Scorpio is when a lot of that stuff is funneled into our consciousness. It's going to be a big purge, a huge purge that is going to be building and building and building until that full moon at the end of the month that it's going to be eventful. And then it's going to continue into November, but we're just handling October right now. It's a lot. So on the 24th, Venus trines Saturn. So Venus comes into its trine with Saturn. This will bring reliable, stable energy to our relationships. It's also a really good time to discuss problems, particularly around your values and money and things like that. And just have that like firm foundation to be able to even handle a lot of the things that this is going to dig up and help you process. So the end of the month is a little bit better. There's a couple of like mid to late mid-month to like not so much the end of the month is just a lot focused on like solidifying the relationships that are going to get us through this. I've been saying this a lot. This year has been all about purging us of all the relationships that were not authentic, that were not of our highest good, that were standing in our way and keeping us from what we were supposed to where we're supposed to go and what we're supposed to obtain. And now we're really solidifying the ones that are here to help us navigate what's to come. So this Venus trine Saturn is a really good time for this. Now, on the 25th, our sun will come into a conjunction with Mercury retrograde. So whenever planets conjunct, their energies combine. You can kind of think of them both coming at you at the same time in a combined fashion, rather than a square where they're conflicting or triggering, or an opposition where they're needing balance. This is both of them coming at you at once. The Mercury retrograde has been digging deep, trying to understand some stuff. And when he comes into contact with the sun on the 25th, we're going to start to integrate some of what that has been about into our consciousness. It's going to be another aha moment. And you really want to make sure that you're really paying attention on these days when the sun is either conjunct or opposite, particularly planets that have been retrograde, because that is when all the work that planet has been doing now comes into your field of reference, where you can even like grasp it and start to internalize it and be like, oh, I see. So make sure that you're paying attention around the 25th. Okay, hold on. Oh, my back. Okay, so on the 28th, we're almost done, guys. On the 28th, Mercury retrograde enters Libra the same day that Venus enters Libra. So Mercury, which was over here in Scorpio, turned retrograde and now is transited back into Libra. This is when that shift starts to happen, where I say a lot of it has to do with like deep internal stuff, our shadow that stands in the way of fucking everything. And now it starts to focus on like, okay, now where is our shadow when it comes to relationships? And how can I really start to understand this? The same time that Venus comes in there, our focus is going to be on others. It's going to be on our relationships. But at the same time, we have all this Mars energy about the self. So we're really working on and finding our space in this. How can we be true to ourselves and our mission and what it is we came here to do, while also being there for our loved ones and building those deep community and family connections, loved ones, twin flames, children, whatever it is, that is what being a human is all about, you know? So I have some stuff written here. Hold on. Relationships. So Mercury retrograde will enter Libra, and it's going to start to help us find what we need to do, change or purge or integrate or understand or reflect upon so that we can find balance within our relationships. And when Venus enters Libra on that same day, the shift is going to be from more of a practical, how can I be practical and do things, not like tangible things. Like, how can I clean the house so my kids aren't freaking have a sink full of dishes? You know what I mean? How can I help my daughter with her homework? How can I do little things around here that will help make my relationships easier and practical in a practical, tangible way? How can I make these better and physically do things here in the world? Now, when Libra transits, when Venus transits into Libra, the shift then comes into more of an romantic, affectionate energy. The focus is on beauty and loved ones, harmony, and a desire to like accommodate others. This can lead to over conforming and like losing yourself. So definitely make sure that although this is going to help us with losing ourselves, Mars is going to make sure that we don't. But we're in such an internal energy right now that it might be easy to do that. So definitely make sure that you are using this time to solidify these relationships, be affectionate and loving and caring, and really soak up all of this energy. But at the same time, do not lose yourself and make sure that you aren't conforming so much to what is PC or consider like what it is that everybody is telling you to do right now, whether it's the media, your friends, the internet, your loved ones. You know what's best for you. This is the year of the retrograde. It's been digging deep to really show you that. And just make sure that you're trying to find a balance between your relationships and yourself. This is, again, all about balance. Which then brings me, okay, so our last moon is on the 31st. Our video for this is going to be on the 30th because I'm not going to do it on Halloween. So on the 30th at 9 p.m. will be our live stream for this moon. I'm not going to go too far into it right now, but our moon is on the 31st. It is on Halloween or Samhain, and it is a blue moon, which is not astrologically significant, according to Rick. We have 13 moons a year. Sometimes 2 full moons fall in 1 month. Months are like a man-made construct of days. So the fact that 2 fell in this 31-day period is not super relevant astrologically speaking, but it does put like a pinpoint on this period of time. And it shows us that October is about a lot of releasing. Now, of course, it is every year. We're past the fall equinox. We're in that period of shedding. And of course, this is when a lot of that we're forced to let go as the seasons change and the leaves die and our skin sheds as well. So this moon is opposite Uranus. It is going to be extremely unusual, intense, erratic. Um, it's going to be a lot. I don't even know how to really verbalize what this moon is going to be like until I get a little bit closer to it, just because it has so much Uranus energy, and Uranus is just so unpredictable that I really need to wait to see until some of this month plays out so I can try to see how this is playing out. But yeah, we're not going to talk too much about it now. Anyway, that's our last moon. It's on the end of at the end of the month, and I'm going to go over to you guys now. I'm going to check in the chat in a second. So, hide. It looks blurry. Is it blurry for you guys? I don't understand why it does that. Focus. Okay. So I'm going to check in with the chat. I did that in an hour and a half, you guys. That was pretty impressive. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of messages, so hold on. Libra sun. Oh, I'm trying to scroll up. Okay. Janelle says I'm doing good at activating areas. Okay, thank you. Steven says Libra sun square the Capricorn trio sounds fucking intense. It is. It's fucking intense. Particularly on a collective level. Like I said, in a personal level, it's there to help trigger you in little ways. All of the last squares, I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so intense. It's on my birthday and it's conjunct all my planets. And oh my God, I'm going to get in a huge fight with my boyfriend and this and that. And no, he made me a table that day. And then like the next day we had this whole plan about how we're going to make tarot cards. Like we're being triggered in different ways. So as long as you're integrating these energies right on a personal level, it can be beautiful. Now, on a collective level, our world is not integrating energies properly right now. It will be triggering, particularly that energy of Libra, justice, combating against the power and structure of the system. It's going to be a lot. There's no two ways about that. This entire month is going to be intense, which is why I really tried to focus this a lot about what you can do and how you can utilize these energies, so as opposed to all the shit that's going to go down around you, because it is going to happen. We're leading up to the election, you guys. It's just going to happen. But yes, it does seem intense. Why does this look so strange? I got to figure out this camera. Janelle says, work our path. The best of times and the worst of times is the only way I know how to explain 2020. That's Kimberly. Yeah, she said that to me a bunch of times. Kelly likes that. Kimberly, personally, it's been pretty magical. Collectively, that's a whole nother story. Yeah, and that's because you're doing the work and you're following it. I as well, like, even though I see like all these transits, and even like the astrologers are like, oh my God, this is so horrible. I'm like, but it ain't manifesting like that for me because I know it's coming and I'm taking the higher octave. And that's what I want to show you guys what to do, how to do that. That's our goal here. How we can tap into Neptune's creativity and these Venus energies and utilize those to help build us our firm foundations of relationships that are going to help us combat the system. We can't do this shit together. I mean, we can't do this shit alone. We have to do it together. And this is when we're solidifying a lot of those relationships and the foundations that we will need to navigate what's to come. I feel like I have ink on my forehead because I have it all over my hands from my pen. Okay. Kimberly says she's definitely taken advantage of her creativity. Yes, Kimberly got a sketchbook recently, and oh my God, she is so talented. It's phenomenal. I love it. I love it so much. Which actually probably is a good time to mention this. So my kids, I'm pretty excited to announce this. This is what's fun. We've been really tapping into their creativity as well, trying to find little things to keep them occupied. So they have had a couple of little like witchy projects that have expanded, And first they're actually going to be going out with some of the abundance packages this month for those of you who are part of my abundance tier or above. And then they're going to be going out every month after that, and they're actually creating their own tarot deck. So the way it started was they started making these little talisman. So my daughter, my oldest, makes all these little witches familiars, all these different cats. This is a rainbow cat. I don't know why I can't focus. I don't know how to use this camera yet or how to even aim at it. Oh my God, I'm horrible at this. I'll figure it out. And then my youngest makes all these little witch hats and like spirit animals and stuff. And we're sending them out with all the abundance packages. I was laying there in bed one night and I was like, oh, because they have little things that each of these mean. They made them themselves. I had no help in any of this. I mean, I showed them how to bead, but made them themselves. Pulled my crystal book, pulled my astrology book, did some research, looked up some quotes, and then they were coming up with like what these mean, like how they help you do different things. And I had an idea one night and I was like, oh, well, we're going to make little tarot cards to go with them. And then you can tell them like what that means, you know? And so the kids started, and I got like index cards, and they made these just to go with this one packet, but they had so much fun. So now they're making their own deck, and it's going to be pretty cool. So each of these cards that they make, so some of you guys are going to get these mailed to you right now. You're going to have like the original artwork. So my kids are like, well, if we get famous, they're going to have the original artwork. That's pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, you're going to be famous witches making tarot cards and stuff. And they're having so much fun, but they have like the little galaxy cat. My daughter made this. And then on the back, it has like everything is nothing with a twist. And it has a circle turning into a little infinity sign. And it has like all these different quotes and all this stuff about like what this familiar brings for you. And then all these different cards. And then my other daughter does it with little witch hats. So like this is the earth hat. It balances the earth and it like grounds you and all this stuff. I had very little to do with any of this, and it was super mind-blowing. So we're scanning these all into the computer. We're going to make them their own tarot deck. They're actually going to make the whole booklet themselves too. They're both great writers, and I'm super excited for this, and they have been making tons of them. So those of you who are part of the abundance package are going to be getting these, and you have the original OG artwork, and it's super exciting. And they're very interested. They're very into it right now, and I love it because they need things to keep them busy. So I need to scroll up here a little bit because I was talking a lot, but I hope you guys like those. I don't want to show you too much because I do want it to be a surprise for the people who are getting the packages. This month is my favorite. Oh, it's so cute. It's so witchy. I love it so much. Okay. Janelle says, I asked today to send me some meditations, please. Down below, linked below. There's 3, and they're really good. Kimberly's been drawing. Janelle's been wanting to make necklaces. Do it. Michael's was having a sale the other day. I went there to buy some stuff for those abundance packages, and usually they have like a coupon where it's just off one item, but they had it off like 20% off your whole checkout. So that was good. Kelly, I just do random stuff, but I'm a Sag moon about it, laughing my ass off. Me too, dude. She likes crafting stuff, to write, to sing, to dance. Janelle, I love to buy Goodwill stuff and make pretty and new. Yes, me too. I totally love to do that. Or I like pick things up off the curb. I bring home tables and start projects that my poor boyfriend has to finish. Janelle loves crafts as well. I did a lot at the beginning of quarantine. She wants to go to Joshua Tree. Kimberly loves plants. I've kind of run out of space in my apartment for more, though, she says. Lots of journaling. Yes, journaling is very good. It's particularly with all the Neptune energy. And it'll be beautiful journaling. It'll be some of the most beautiful writing you ever do. Kelly says that journaling is awesome for downloads to come through. Absolutely. Janelle says, Kimberly, yes, just started buying and learning about plants. Kelly, oh, good to know about the line size. Oh, Kelly, I'm going to need you to help me with the line size. I still am struggling with it. Help me. That software is so hard. Kimberly says 100%. Kelly says, yes, so many people have exited this year and solidified the others, exited this year and solidifying the others. Yes, 100%. Focus. Camera. Okay. Janelle says, same here. That was awesome. Lots of notes. Cool. I hope that helped. I tried to stay on topic. That's probably the best I've ever done. She can't see Steven talking. Janelle, I just need to stay focused on personal level than on the outside. But being aware is so much better. Yes. Janelle, I just don't understand astrologers. What's happening? So why aren't you working with it? Just scaring everyone? I know, I don't get it. It's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. There's a way, like, the stars and the planets are not out to get you. And you know, like the Gnostic view of them is that they're like archons. They're like angels or deities that manifest energy and are the control system of the matrix. And yes, they do very much control our reality and our lives until we become aware and conscious of them and we start to move past them, particularly, and start to integrate a lot of the star systems. We really do start to move out of this matrix, but we have to be aware of it and know its intricacies so we don't fall victim to it again. And astrology is the only thing that I've ever seen that really helps me know what the fuck is going on here in this world so that I can navigate it. My necklaces are driving me nuts. Kimberly, yes. I call it engaged but detached. I'm aware of what's going on, but then I gotta let it go and do my thing. Yeah. That's so cute. I love that. Yes, Kimberly, I literally said a few weeks ago, engaged but detached. This is Janelle, which most can't, unfortunately. Yeah, it's hard. Kelly says that's adorable. They're your little witchy helpers. Yes, they love it so much. They did so good. Look at these things. These are so good. This is the mercat. It's so good. And the ocean hat. Little witch hats. And they have like, so they're going to have all their different like suits, right? So they have the witch's familiar, the cats. They have the witch hats. My daughter also has a whole line of spirit animals that has their little things that they mean. And then she also has a thing called the little aliens, all different types of little aliens, like a sixer and all these different creatures she's created that have different meanings and things about them. And then she also has a whole line of defects, which are like all the little creatures that she's made that she's like messed up on. And for the longest time, she was like, oh, I'm just going to put this one over here. I messed up on it. And I was like, oh, it looks cute. I like it. And then the other day, she was like, I know what I want to do with all the defects. I was like, what? She's like, I want to make a whole line in the tarot cards, and I want them to be about all your flaws and how they're beautiful and how you can find power in the flaws and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I love it. I love it so much. Let's do it. Let's do it all. So Kelly says that's adorable. Oh my goodness, that's rad. Yeah, we're super excited. As above, so below. Yeah. And I'm letting them just do it all. And they like looked up all the astrology, and so they knew like the like elements to go with it and things like that. And I was over here doing my work. They were just, can I borrow this book? And they're like pulling it off my shelf. I was like, sure, go ahead. And did it themselves. It's crazy. So we're super excited about that. But does anybody have any questions for me? You guys, I did that in less than 2 hours. That's impressive. Oh, I'm going to pull a card. I'm going to pull a card from my wizard deck, and I'm just going to read it from the book. Okay, so this is the Wizard's Tarot. I'm still getting used to this deck. I'm just going to pull one card, and it has like a little description, and then it has some advice. So we're just going to pull a card for our little collective right here for the month of October. If we had to sum it all up in like one thing, what do we need to know most going in and out of October? And I love this deck, so pretty. And I really, really, really like the back of it with the dragon and the crystal. All right, if anybody has any questions, you can throw them in there. I'm going to shuffle this and pull a card. I think I covered everything. Does anybody have any questions about the starseed stuff? So also those days are really, really, really great to meditate on. You definitely really want to make sure, especially the Arcturus, that new moon. Definitely utilize that. The Andromedas, that stuff we've been dealing with for quite some time. I'm sure all of you twin flames are pretty aware of all the shadow integration and growth that has occurred. Lyra, that's past timelines. These are past cataclysmic timelines of things that we've already been through that we're trying not to do again. And that's what all the Lyra activations are bringing for us. And we're at the tail end of that. These planets are starting to move out of Lyra. We've been really dealing with this all through, while all these planets have been transiting Capricorn. Regulus is over, Draco, the Shadow, Arcturus, mental downloads of information, straight downloads of just pure cosmic information from the stars can come through on that day. And yeah, Arcturus is the main event this month, and also the Orion meteor shower. So proud, LOL. I think I need to spend this month meditating. Oh my god, LOL, this energy is rough for me. Yeah, I'm glad that this Patreon has kept me busy, because this is like a really good way for me to channel all this energy, have something to put all of this into, because otherwise I would be a neurotic mess. Kelly, start writing like daily astrology things, let in your journal to practice. Start working with these energy. There it is. Pulled this card so many times since I've got this deck, and I haven't pulled like majority of these other cards. But just start working with this energy and start like writing little things in your journal to start practicing, working with astrology, because I know that's what the new occult study that you've really been diving deep into, and it'll start to help you feel more grounded. Especially what I noticed, like when you start getting into astrology, you're like taken off planet. Like I quote Stevie Nicks and Fleetwood Mac all the time, like taken by the sky. Like you are literally like taken, and you're trying to decode the cosmos, and you're in such a cosmic state that you need to be grounded. And it will all be happening in your mind if you don't physically start to send those messages out into the world. And whether it's through posts, I know you're doing your blogs with your tarot, whatever it may be, if you're really following these transits a lot, Kelly, like I know you are right now with your planner and everything, start sending those messages out. I really think it will help. It'll help. Like bring that cosmic energy in and then through and out. So yeah. So this is the card, the Seven of Pentacles. Ooh, this camera is better, I think. It's just so hard to aim. I'm not used to aiming at this thing. It's like pointed weird. Okay, so you can see the little witch sitting at her table, and she's got all her little potions going on. We're going to read what this book has to say about the Seven of Pentacles. Okay, so the keywords for this card in this deck are assessment, evaluation, reflection, measuring, return on investment, harvest, rewards, and appraisal. Pentacles represent earth, the body, diligence, resources, and the physical world, creation, manifestation, and receptivity. As we reach certain levels of achievement, it is natural to evaluate our lives in order to determine our next step. The Seven brings the energy of assessment to the forefront. There are times in life when you've done all that you can, but still have to wait. Whether it is fruit ripening on a vine, a pie baking in the oven, or an elaborate alchemical experiment, you can't rush the fruit, the pie, or the experiment. That only leads to ruin. Unlike the time of waiting in the Three of Wands, this period should be used for review. Check and double check everything, because there is still time to make adjustments. Evaluate your process and determine if there are ways you can improve quality or efficiency next time. If there is still time after that, just keep a close eye on everything. A watched pot will eventually boil, even if it feels like it takes forever, but an unwatched pot is likely to boil over. So when reading that card, it's a lot of the retrogrades, right? It's a lot of like Mars retrograde, having to wait, having to focus on the internal things that are holding us back, having to check that like Mars in Aries wants to go, 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 and he doesn't make the best decisions. Mars in Aries is reckless and he doesn't plan. And then we also have Mercury retrograde. We have Mercury retrograde is trying to really reflect, reconsider, and make some proper decisions. I don't really want to talk too much about the election, but you guys know Mercury will go direct on the election, the day of the election, station direct on the day of election. He will not be moving. Nothing is going to make sense. And then after that, it's going to be a whole, I really do think that 2021 is going to be extremely revolutionary. Yeah. So I think that card was good. I think that the focus really needs to be on internal. What do you have fucking control over right now? Not the world, but what once these planets all start to go direct and Mars is then going to square other planets, but he'll get some movement after January. But for the most part, we're going to start to see some movement towards the end of the year. And all these things right now that aren't making any sense, we're being forced to reconsider, redo everything, are things that we're going to need so that we can launch that thing. Spring will be a good time. A lot of what it is that we are going to be doing on a personal level is going to have a lot to do with what's happening on a collective level. So that's why we're working on navigating these, but only in a detached way. We're watching that pot in case it boils over, but we're also watching our own pot and focusing on what it is that we can manifest right now. And what is that? Magic. Find your magic, create something, tap in. This is going to be Scorpio season. This is when the veil is thin as fuck. This is the most magical time of the year. That's why it says on my calendar, it must be the season of the witch. We are in that right now. You want your gifts to come online? Don't pay attention to everything going on. Yes, pay attention so you know what's going on, particularly the next couple of months. There are things we're going to need to navigate, but do not let it consume your life, and make sure that you are focusing on your own spiritual practices and holding yourself accountable. I really, really, really like this platform here because you guys are so supportive of each other. I love seeing this, and it keeps me accountable, where I am not slacking off because I am not just being like accountable to myself, which honestly I wish I could say I'm great at, but I'm not. But I also am accountable to you guys. So I do want to start doing more of the Discord meets. So let me know if that's something you guys want to do again, maybe next week, or if any of you guys want to lead one, let me know. I would be more than happy to have you do that as well. So I appreciate you guys so much. I don't think I'm going to pull any more cards. I think I'm going to call it a night before 11. Wow, good job, Ellie. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you. When will I see you? Today is our new moon. So for the new moon is on the 16th, but our next live is on the 14th. And we are going to be working with sigils. I'm going to teach you how to make a sigil for an intention that you want. And we're going to be working with those and our charts to manifest stuff in the house of our ruled by Libra. So all the same stuff, you'll need your chart and all of that. And I hope that this calendar that I made helps you. Let me know. And I appreciate you guys. Have a good night. Bye, guys. You're welcome, Jenny. And yeah, packages are going out later this week for the abundance tier. And yeah, if you want to upgrade or join for the abundance tier for November, you just have to do it before the 1st, because the only packages going out are the people who were charged on the 1st. So if you want to upgrade, just make sure you do it the 1st. And also t-shirts, DM me, send me an email, cosmicspacewitch@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because I literally always forget to say that. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later. I appreciate you. Bye.